All right, folks, listen, I have a bit of a story here that I want to relate to you all here. The other day when I was heading up to John O'Groats on the monkey bike, I stopped off in Invergordon and I went into a cafe called, oh geez, what was it called, Ger?
Crazy Horse.
Into Crazy Horse, anyway. I went in for a cup of coffee there and I was sitting down and Gerard was sitting across from me and we just got talking and we got talking about, what am I doing on the monkey bike and all that, and one thing led to another anyway. And obviously we were talking about suicide and, the amount of people dying by suicide and all that. And Gerard told me a story which was very sad but very interesting. And I asked Gerard, would he mind if we had an old chat on Friday on my way back down on my first day of the monkey bike ride? And he said, yeah, he'd love to have a chat. So I'm going to ask Gerard if he doesn't mind just to tell us what he told me the other day. Right, Gerard?
Thanks very much, Colin. 5 years ago, my brother-in-law committed suicide. And I was the person that was there. I had to go to his flat and find out that he killed himself and wait for the coroner and stuff like that there. I had the ID and stuff like that. Everything that goes along with the police and everything, had to make statements and that. And it was a tough couple of weeks, getting through it. It was coming up to the mouth of Christmas. My wife was 6 months pregnant. And every time they mentioned Connor's name, I just had this vision of finding him and stuff like that,
Right.
And it was constant. It was always at the front of my mind whenever I heard his name. Bang! I had what I seen of Connor, and it wouldn't go away, and it was getting to me. It was in my head, and any time his name was mentioned, I would sort of retreat from conversations or go for a walk or something like that. So I was about a month after that. There, I was approached by a counselling service that dealt with suicide and bereavement.
Right.
There was a young girl from Cookstown that I know. Her name's Danielle Gallagher, and she says, "Look, if you want to come and we can talk about it." And it was difficult because I couldn't express myself to my wife or her family or even my own family, because I wasn't able to communicate with them because it was their loved one.
Yes.
And I'm having to tell them how I'm feeling, and I didn't want to upset them, and I didn't want to upset my own family, so I ended up going to the counselling anyway, and through talking about it and being able to deal with the likes of questions that my wife was asking me, like why did it happen? They were asking questions commonly like, if I'd have done this, if I'd have done that, that might have changed.
Right, okay, yeah.
Could have done something to stop this from happening, and I myself, I didn't have the answers. So I started going to this counsellor, and she helped me get the images of Connor out of my head to happy memories of Connor every time his name was mentioned. So it was a slow process. It took me about a year of counselling, and it was able to, anytime I hear his name now, I think of him sitting on the couch with a hat on, telling
So you have positive thoughts now rather than negative.
Constant positive thoughts now, instead of the negative ones that I had.
Right.
What I was reliving every time,
And did you like go through like a sense of guilt at any point, like?
Yeah, I was going through the guilt side of it as well because I was doing my best to help him with his mental health. Everybody in my wife's family, they were all trying to help as well, and it's not like we weren't doing enough, because we were doing more than enough. Everybody was feeling the guilt because it was as if to say, well, what if we'd have done this different, or what if we'd have done that different? Did we give him too much love? Did we not give him enough love? And that they were the constant questions that everybody was asking themselves, and still asking themselves till today.
Right.
His anniversary is coming up now in September, and I know what way things are. The lead up to it is everybody in the family goes quiet. There isn't much communication, and then the emotions come out then after the anniversary,
Right.
and everybody's raw. And my wife now, to be fair, she spent a lot of nights crying
I
after
can
the
imagine,
anniversary,
yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, she's been to the counselling as well, and it helps. It definitely helps.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, would you recommend it?
I would
like,
recommend it 100%. Because through the therapy itself of talking and reassuring that we did do everything that we could, it was more along the lines of taking the negative, because it doesn't matter if you're a positive person, the negativity sets in because you feel like you didn't do enough to help.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then with what, in my situation, because I was the one that found Connor, it was like, I was the one, don't get me wrong, and in a sense, I was the right person to be there because nobody else could have coped.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How much, yeah.
So with me being there, I knew I was supposed to do this, because I could deal with it a whole lot better. But if it wasn't for the counselling, I wouldn't like to think where I would be at.
Yeah, like would it ever have come to a point where you would have thought about suicide?
Oh, maybe. I can't honestly say yes or no to that question, because I am usually a forward, a positive person,
Yeah.
I'm always laughing and joking and stuff, but whenever you see the likes of Connor, who was always laughing and joking and having a crack, you sit, you question yourself.
What you thinking? Yeah.
You question yourself, Jesus, could I commit suicide?
Yeah.
Because I'm happy and jovial and like to have a bit of crack. Could my mind just change that quickly? Where
you just don't know,
it's
do you?
full of negative thoughts, and that basically that's what it was. The counselling took every negative feeling I was having about the whole situation and about also dealing with the aftermath of it.
Yes.
Dealing with my wife and her family, being able to deal with that through counselling was a reassurance as well, and the positivity came back into the family routine and stuff, and don't get me wrong, my wife, she still has her down days, and all I can do is just be there for her, talk to her, and before you know it, where she's sad, she's laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's great. It's great that you're able to sit here and talk about something like that now, because it's very important to be able to talk.
It is, but communication. I know a lot of people would try to bury the subject. Because there is such a stigma to
Absolutely, yeah.
suicide. And a lot of people would be like, they would say, "No, we better not talk about our feelings. We better not talk about how we feel about the situation, stuff like that." There, so they just plod on, and in plodding on, all you're doing is you're feeding the hunger.
Okay.
To one time there's an explosion, and I'm talking about in a family unit, and then there's arguments, and there's going to be wires crossed, and there's going to be resentment then kicks in. You didn't do enough. You didn't do enough. When everybody did do enough.
That's the thing,
what I'm
like,
saying.
Yeah.
And it's all because of lack of communication, lack of being able to turn around and say, "Look, I tell you how I'm feeling. I'm feeling sad."
Yeah.
And to just say that there in a family unit, then it opens up for everybody else. They're all going to turn and say, "Well, I'm feeling the exact same way," and I feel like. But whenever you don't communicate, you don't get that. People just get on with their lives. And
so the key thing you would say is for anybody either being suicidal or having gone through what you've gone through is to definitely go down the road of counselling or give it a go at least. It's worth giving it a go, yeah.
It's good to talk. You've heard that slogan before.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And it so is good to talk. I'm a grown man, and I never thought I'd be able to express my feelings.
Yeah.
Because society is, has told you, you're a man, men don't cry, men do have to put on the brave face. No. I go out and I just tell it how it is.
Well, thanks a million for doing this, because I think when people watch this, it will help somebody, and with the help of God, it will prevent somebody from ending their own life as well.
Well, this is it. Go speak to a friend. Maybe a family member, maybe a friend. you know, people just think that whenever it comes to suicide, that's where it stops. No, that's only where it starts.
Mm.
Because the pain that follows through the rest of the family it's there till the day they die.
Yeah.
And it lives on through our children because they remember, oh yeah, we had a relative that killed themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, it's an uphill struggle trying to prevent suicide. You know, trying to bring awareness to it and stuff like that. There, without a doubt. You know.
Well,
like,
tomorrow I'll be riding from Inverness to Perth, so we'll dedicate tomorrow's ride to your brother-in-law Connor. Okay.
That's great. Thank you very much.
In memory of Connor, and thanks a million,
I appreciate
Gerard,
that,
for everything.
thank
Okay.
you.
Cheers.
Thank you.